Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the 10th inning with Nick Mattos.
Oh, put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Look at me. I can be center field.
Welcome to the 10th inning. I'm Nick Mattos in the Lethal Weapon 2 studio with my producer Dave Perkins. And I recently flew to Las Vegas, Nevada on July 7th through July 9th. There was a global basketball summer league tournament, and it lasted through July 12th. They had two sessions, Session A and Session B. And I had the privilege of going to Las Vegas and doing play-by-play for several of the 24 basketball games. And I now have a special guest online with me, and he is the executive director of Global Basketball. It's Daryl Reshaw. Hey, Daryl, thanks for joining me.
Hey, my pleasure, Nick.
Well, Daryl, I want to tell you, that was one of the funnest events I've ever been involved with. I was so impressed with the format that you set up there for the players, for the coaches, for the media personnel, and for the officials. There were a lot of excellent D-League officials there trying to work their way up into the NBA, just as players from all over the country had come there to Las Vegas to showcase their skills. I want to first talk about you a little bit, okay? You have set this up, and we're going to get right into that, but let's start out by, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where were you born and raised?
I actually was born, Nick, in Denver, Colorado. Went to high school at George Washington High School. Then after college, I transitioned and moved to San Francisco, the Bay Area. And actually, I spent a lot of time in the Bay Area in the summers in high school. So when people ask me where I'm from, I tell them Denver and San Francisco.
Well, Daryl, you also went. Where did you go to college? Okay, I already know your background of you played over 20 years in professional basketball, 12 years in the European Basketball League. But where did you end up going to college?
Went to a junior college for a couple of years in McCook, Nebraska. Had a nice little JUCO career. Then after that, I transferred to Sam Houston State in Texas.
Okay, so what brought you to the European leagues? Because it looks like you spent a majority of your life over there in Europe.
Well, after I graduated from college, I officially moved out to the Bay Area, and I wanted to play professional basketball, but because I didn't get drafted, I went to a small school. I didn't really know what to do, and I was actually just in the Bay Area playing in the San Francisco Winter Pro-Am and the Summer Pro-Am leagues and playing a lot of semi-pro tournaments all around the Bay Area. And it was some unbelievable talent out there. And the gentleman by the name of Nate Sane, he was actually from Chicago. He was in law school, and he was a basketball player. He played, I think, in the Ivy League back in the day. And he was on our team, and he was like, hey, man, you should not be playing in this stuff. He said, your game is more suited to, for the professional game. You should be either in the NBA or at least overseas getting a paycheck. So he introduced me to an NBA agent at the time named Rob Carroll, out of San Francisco. Rob was an attorney, big-time attorney in San Francisco that kind of toyed around with the agency thing, and he was the only agent that probably anybody knew of in the Bay Area at the time. And so he ended up representing me and one of my good friends. And next thing I know, Rob had us playing in the NBA Summer League back in 1985 and got an opportunity to play against the Lakers, Clippers, Pacers, Cavaliers, Celtics, against all kinds of NBA talent. We played for a team called Italian Basketball. IBC, Italian Basketball Company or something like that. And he had a situation where the top agent in Europe at the time in Italy was a guy named Luciano Capicchione. Everybody called him Lucky. And they ran this tour team. And after we played in L.A., he had a year-round tour team. And so after most of the guys who played on this team in the NBA Summer League, we ended up going to Italy and playing based in San Marino on a team called San Marino Larios, and we played against the top teams. And Italy, France, and Spain. Then in 1986, we played against Mundo Basket, like a warm-up games against all the national teams. So these tours, you would end up getting about 20 games minimum playing in some of the top competition against people like Petrovic, Sabonis, just all kinds of guys. And after you played on one of these tours, you're ready for pro basketball in Europe. So I kind of fell in love with Europe at that point. I didn't really care if I got the opportunity in the NBA. My mind was just, I have to play European basketball. So when I went back to San Francisco after the second tour, ended up running into a guy who decided to sponsor me. He said, hey, don't wait for an agent. He just go back. So ended up buying me a ticket one way to Europe. I actually landed in London. I was on my way to Switzerland, but I ended up working out with a team and got hurt. So I kind of laid up in the U-Hospital a couple of weeks. And while I was in London, I worked out with a couple of other teams and ended up playing my first year in London in the British League. Then I stayed there for 4 years and at the end, I ended up playing for one of the top teams in Europe. In 90 or 91, we finished eighth in the top 8 in Europe in the European Champions Cup, which is now called the Euro League. And after that, I ended up playing in Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, France, Israel. And in 98, I believe, 96, 97, I ended up playing one of my last years back in England. And then my last year was in France in 1998. And I retired after that and transitioned to the advertising business for a while, then into the agency business.
Well, in 1998, Daryl, you founded the TASM Global Solutions, and that really was the beginning of a great career that you've had, and it's been a career of greatness, not only on the basketball court, but off the court too. And I can tell you, this global basketball is just unbelievable, Daryl. I'm so impressed with what you've done, and I do want to mention that, you know, your size. Okay, you're a big guy. What is 6'6", 6'5"? What are you, Daryl?
I'm 6'6".
6'6".
I played at 215, but now I'm about 250, a little bit heavier than my playing days, but I still move around and, you know, able to play a little basketball still.
Absolutely. And you were averaging 22 points a game and 10 rebounds when you were there in the Euro League, and I was pretty impressed when you told me that you played for the 50s team here for FIMBA and won the championship there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Because I think that's pretty impressive that you're still in that good a shape where you can go and represent the United States in the Pan American Games.
Yeah, I have a friend that actually in 1986 we were on the same San Francisco Pro-Am team that won the Pro-Am championship. It was a team called Thomas Tycoons, and we ended up beating a team that had full of Golden State Warriors to win it. But anyway, this guy is a legend in San Francisco. His name is James Payne. And ever since I moved back to the States, he had been telling me about these Masters basketball tournaments. He had been playing in Australia, Puerto Rico, all these tournaments around the world. But I was in the agency business, so I never really had time. But he kept telling me about it. And so I got out of the agency business probably about 7 years ago. And in 2013, I said, you know what, let me go ahead and play in one of these tournaments he told me about. So we ended up going and playing in the Masters Basketball Association. They had an event in Jacksonville. And I went my first year, played it, and just fell in love with it. I think the one in Jacksonville was managed by Artis Gilmore. And it's this Masters basketball here in the United States. You have these tournaments in Florida, about 2 or 3 in Florida, one in Buffalo, one in Utah. They have them in Detroit, Chicago, just all over the United States. But the big one is called the NBA in Coral Springs. It happens every year, like in May, and I ended up playing in that, and I played well in all the tournaments, so I kind of got recruited by the guys who run the FIMBA USA team. The FIMBA is similar to FIBA, but it's called the Federation of International Masters Basketball Association. They have competitions every 2 years. They have Pan American Games, they have a Pan Asian Games, they have a World Basketball Championship. It's called the FIMBA World Basketball Championship. So in 2015, we actually played in that. I represented the United States over 50 teams, and we won that. We had on our team, people will probably remember Billy Thompson. He played with the Lakers, won a NBA championship with Magic Johnson back in the day. Billy Thompson also won a NCAA championship with Louisville, and he also won an Israeli championship. So this guy won a lot of championships. So he played with us in 2015. We also had Greg Kite, who played with the Boston Celtics, and I think he probably won a ring with Larry Bird. So those two NBA guys on our team. Then we had three other guys like myself who played overseas. A guy named Woody and Emery Ackerson who played in Australia. So we were like the five main pros on the team. And these tournaments, man, features the World Championships feature ex-Olympians, ex-national team players, ex-NBA players, ex-pros from all over the world. So the competition is really deep, and it's kind of like a celebration of master athletes who are still in shape and who still love the game. And, I mean, it's cool to have the big names and all that, but really the best teams are the guys who could really play but are still in really good shape. So the tough competition was always the Italians. They featured a couple of teams that are all former high-level pros. The Ukraine team had Andrew Volkov, who played. We beat them in the quarterfinals in 2015, but they were our toughest competition. They had Andrew Volkov, who played on the USSR Olympic team. I think they wanted to go one of those years. We boycotted the Olympics, and he also played with the Atlanta Hawks, and he was a big star in Europe back in the day. And they had some other former Soviet Union players on that Ukrainian team, but we actually beat them in the quarterfinals. Then we beat the Italian team in the championship. Then when we went to in 2016, we represented the USA in Costa Rica in the Pan American Games, and we won the gold there. We ended up beating Puerto Rico in the championship, and most of the guys on Puerto Rico team were former national team players for Puerto Rico, and they're really good. But the tournaments, I mean, it's excellent. I think the World Championships usually feature over 500 teams from all over the world, men and women, and every age category from 40 up. So every 5 years there's a different category. And it's just, like I said, it's a celebration of life. And not only the playing is fun, but getting a chance to bond and, you know, just talk to guys, how they keep in shape and the old stories. And it's just a great 10-day event. So it's unbelievable. And they have opening ceremonies that's very similar to the Olympics, you know, big stadiums and countries come in with their flags and music. And, I mean, it's a really fun event.
That sounds really exciting, Daryl. Are you going to continue to play? You look in great shape.
Definitely.
You look in great shape.
Definitely.
You can still keep doing this.
Yeah, I plan on playing till the good Lord says, hey, Daryl, it's time.
Good for you. Hey, Daryl, let's talk a little bit about the global basketball here. This was the 10th year here that you put on the Global Basketball Summer League tournament there, and I was really impressed with it. Not only were I mentioned the athletes were just phenomenal, had come about from all over the United States to come there. The officials, the coaches there was many foreign coaches there that had come from the Euro League, amongst other great coaches. And why don't you tell us a little bit how you started the Global Basketball Summer League? And that was in, I guess, 2007. Is that correct?
I actually started in 2008. When I was in the agency business, there was a media property called Eurobasket.com. They're kind of leaders of providing international basketball information. And I hooked up with them early 2000, and I helped them with their advertising strategy and I ended up writing their business plan. So I helped them monetize their website, and they've been very, very successful. And a lot of people in the industry still utilize the website to get international basketball information. But at the time in 2008, the guy who owned Eurobasket said, hey, Daryl, come on, you need to be doing some work. You're supposed to be our advertising director or sales and marketing director. So I was in the agency business, so Eurobasket was kind of like a little sideline business for me. I kind of worked with them on the side as a consultant, and I did their sales and marketing work. So I tried to get sponsorship from Nike or Adidas, like a title sponsor for the website. And they were very interested. However, Adidas was more interested. They kept saying, well, we love Eurobasket. We're always on the website. We need their information for our events. And they kept saying, we need their information for our events. And so I kind of put two to two together, and I was like, information and events. I was like, well, hey, we have the information, so if they need the information for our events, why don't we run our own events? Why are we trying to get advertising dollars when we can make money running events? So I kind of wrote a whole business plan of events for Eurobasket, and one of the events was a European exposure showcase camp type of deal. And the objective was to have something that would dominate the market, but actually that would work for the athletes. You know, the exposure camp industry right now, and even back then, was saturated full of agent-ran events that was kind of focused on just making money, but not really providing opportunities for kids. And I just thought if we created something and did it the right way, it would create opportunities. And as an agent, I used to go to an event called the Treviso Summer League. I'm back in Italy in Treviso every summer, and it was an unbelievable event. As an agent, I would go there and see all these coaches from all over the world, and you know, it was ran the right way. They treated the kids, and it was opportunities not only for the players, but it was opportunities for coaches, agents, scouts, just to network. So I always had a player every year, but I would go there just to network with folks and come back with business cards and call them and help some of my other athletes get jobs. So I thought if I ran something, you know, like I said, you don't have to duplicate the wheel, just create it over again. So I wanted to create something similar to the Treviso Summer League, and I didn't want to call it the European Exposure Camp, so I decided to call it the Eurobasket Summer League, you know, based off the Treviso Summer League, the NBA Summer League, and I grew up always playing in these summer leagues, you know, even the NBA Summer League back in the day. And so the whole concept was just to create an event and use the media property as a tool or as a platform to provide exposure to the athletes that dominated the Summer League. And so we started back in 2008. We ran it to 2011. We probably ran 27 events in various cities in the United States, including Las Vegas, New York, Houston, Chicago, Salt Lake City, and we ran a couple of events in Europe, one in Madrid and one in Germany. And as a result, the thing became like the biggest thing outside the NBA Summer League. However, we didn't really protect the intellectual property of the event, and the owner from Eurobasket decided to hijack the event, and they were really just our marketing partners. So once they hijacked the event, we kind of walked away with our tail between our legs for about 2 weeks, and we thought, you know what? We had purchased a domain for Eurobasketball, globalbasketball.com, because we felt it was a better website. And so it was kind of just sitting there. So we decided, like, well, you know what, let's just use this website and keep running our summer league. And we just called it the Global Basketball Summer League. And we had the media property, globalbasketball.com. So 2012, we started with that. And the NBA was really interested back in 2011 to use our event as a training ground for their referees. And so they followed us that summer in 5 different cities. So when we broke off from Eurobasket, they didn't follow Eurobasket. They followed the conductor, the orchestra of the particular event. So they followed us, and they've been working with us for 5 years, and we created the Global Basketball Summer League, and we've just kept on trotting with the thing, and we've added media piece. We didn't have that with the Eurobasket Summer League, and we have the referee piece. So, you know, now we have an event that has about 3 different platforms that, you know, provides a positive impact for, you know, the referees, the media personnel, and also the players, scouts, and agents.
Daryl, that was a real mouthful right there, and I'm telling you, I'm so proud that you just, after you left there with your tail between your legs, that you just didn't finish it off and say, okay, we're done. You know, that's all about Daryl Reshaw right there. You know, all your life, you've just always, anything you've tried, Daryl, you've been successful at it, and I think that says a lot about you as a human being. And the Global Basketball Summer League, I was just so impressed with it. Started there with George Tolliver, the executive director of the NBA officials, came there, talked to everybody before the tournament. The officials that came there were all just working back and forth from the NBA Summer League over there at the Nevada Mac Center. Then they would come back to the Doolittle Community Center, working back and forth. Just everybody involved was just doing an excellent job. And I want to let the listeners know that over 800 of the people that have been involved in this over the years have gotten professional jobs. That's the players, that's the officials, that's the media personnel, and the coaches. So the format you set up is just something that is so valuable, and it allows opportunities for so many people that want to get to a higher level. And that higher level is professional, getting paid to do what you love. And I just was so honored and felt so it was just a privilege to come there and work your tournament there, and got to meet you, and I made several great contacts there, and I'm just excited about it. And I think it's a great format, and I'm just so proud of you, Daryl. I think you've done a justice to humanity by going and doing something like that, and I hope you continue to do this and continue to play basketball, because I saw you. You're still in great shape, my man, okay? And I guess the guys were saying that you might have dropped a couple of pounds, but you look pretty solid to me, and I very impressed with you, and I want you to know how much I appreciated you in inviting me to join you in the Global Basketball Summer League tournament. So I know you're on vacation right now, and so I'm going to let you go. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the listeners about Global Basketball Summer League? They can go online there. You have a wonderful website. All of the ball games will be up pretty soon. I think it's globalbasketballsummerleague.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, if people want to watch the games, they're actually on a YouTube network called Global Basketball TV. So to access that, you just go to YouTube and you just type in one word, Global Basketball TV, and all 24 games will be posted online. And there's also all 24 games from the previous years, from 2015, 14, 13, etc. And like I said, we're trying to, take our event to the next level. That's our main focus. We're trying to make it more of a sponsored event in the future. And we continue, our objective is to continue to, not only this particular event, but the website. Just, we want to impact and be a major player in the, international basketball market, the international global basketball market, and kind of want to operate in that space. And, we enjoy, just seeing something that positively worked, for a variety of different people like yourself, the media folks. In the past, we've had people come and get jobs from the Atlanta Hawks, the NBA, to various other media organizations. And we try to help create a win-win for everybody, help the media folks, help the players. So right now everybody's waiting for us to do our post-event marketing. So every year about 40 to 50 kids will get jobs because they attended the event. And the humbling thing is we had no idea how much impact the NBA, the referee part. I went to a dinner the night the event was over, and they had all the referees, the international referees that joined the program, get up and speak and talk about just how the event, their stories from the event. And I sat up and listened to 5 or 6 referees from China, from the CBA, referees from France, referees from New Zealand and Italy, and I had no idea that how hard they worked and how much the event meant to them, and just the things they learned. They would use that to elevate their careers, and to know that there would be referees there that will end up in the NBA or in the WNBA, and to see it with my own eyes is just kind of humbling to a certain extent. So it's just, I guess we're doing stuff, but we don't even realize what we're doing.
Yeah, Daryl, listen, for myself and all of the people that you've helped get professional jobs, thank you so much for all your effort, and continue to do what you're doing, because it's unbelievable. And I can't tell you enough how much I enjoyed being part of the Global Basketball Summer League, and look forward to doing it again, hopefully next year. So, Daryl Reshaw, thank you so much for joining us here on the 10th inning here with Nick Mattos. You have a wonderful day here and finish off your vacation, and we will talk to you soon, my man.
Okay, thanks for having me, Nick.
Well, that was a great interview there with Daryl Reshaw of the Global Basketball Summer League, and it was such a pleasure for me to go down to Las Vegas, Nevada. There was a little hot there, 115 degrees there a couple of days, but I enjoyed it very much. I'll tell you this, Dave, that is the PG&E is just loving it down there. That is the energy capital of the world. Everybody's got air conditioners down there, but we stayed in the gym there at the Doolittle Community Center most every day. We got there around 8 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't leave the Doolittle Community Center until the last game was over, and we were able to pick up all of our equipment. And one of the things that stood out to me was the talent that was displayed in the tournament. Just so many players. Each team had anywhere from 8 to 10 players. There was 8 teams in Session A, and there was 8 teams in Session B. And some of the players got the opportunity to play in both of the tournaments. And what stood out to me was this. Nobody gave up. no matter what the score was in the game, the players knew what was at stake for them. They got on the court and they played their hardest. With 8 players on the team, everybody had an ample opportunity to show their skills. And during the tournament, there was no doubt there was so many talented players. But as I watched the games, I started to gravitate towards some players, and those players were what I would call nuggets. And I'm going to call them Nick's Nuggets. So I picked out some players, and I had the opportunity at the end of the ball game to talk to some of the Nuggets. But joining me live right now is the point guard for the Nevada Desert Storm, Mike Josserand. Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm excited to talk to you here. I'm in the Lethal Weapon 2 studio with my producer, Dave Perkins, and haven't been in the studio for a while there. Was down there in Las Vegas doing that Global Basketball Summer League tournament, and I'll tell you, I was just so impressed with you, Mike. You're not a big guy. Why don't you, first of all, tell us about your size and tell us about where you were born and raised. Let's learn a little bit about Mike Josserand.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm 6 foot, 175-pound point guard. I was born in New Reshaw, New York, and I was raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. I moved out here when I was about 2 years old, so I'm definitely a Las Vegas kid, and I love it out here. I love basketball, and I got to play college basketball at Southern Utah University, which is about 2.5 hours from Vegas, which is really cool for me. And I only got to play 2 years, which was the downfall to it. And just been playing basketball ever since, out of college, trying to play professionally and working my tail off. And I really just love the game and just really trying to make it to that next step. I believe in my abilities, and I'm just looking forward to signing a contract somewhere to play.
Well, Mike, you and I have something in common, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I want to tell you a couple of things that stood out for me when I was watching you play basketball. And I'm going to tell you the very first thing that I noticed about you was your smile and your enjoyment that you were having playing the game of basketball. I noticed it the whole time you were on the court. You had a beautiful smile, and boy, you got a nice set of teeth. You're just a handsome man, and the whole time I noticed your smile. And you're going 90 miles an hour out there. You're a game changer. And I said, boy, this point guard is really a game changer. And I'll never forget the second game that you played in the semifinals. It was the beginning of the second half. It was a real tough battle in that game, very, very evenly matched. But in the beginning of the second half, you did something that I thought turned the tide of the game. Your team went on to win and go to the finals. You had 5 steals in about, I'm going to say, a 3 or 4 minutes period of the game, and it just turned the game from a close game. You guys got some breathing room, and you went on to win that game. Do you remember that little stretch right there in the beginning of the second half?
I do. It was definitely important. We were, like you said, we were playing a really good team. We were pretty much, we might have been outmatched, but we ended up playing and bringing our heart and playing defense, which is how you win basketball games. We all know that. You can't stop nobody. You're never gonna win. So, yeah, I do remember that. Was definitely a good stretch. 5 steals, like you said, in a short amount of time is game changing, really, because that's 5 possessions they didn't get, and 5 possessions we went down, and I think we scored on most of them and took the lead there. And once we got it, we kept it. So,
absolutely.
That's definitely a good feeling right there when you win on defense.
Yeah. And it was a lot about Mike Josserand, okay? Your energy was contagious to the team that day, Mike, and I really noticed it. And I said right off the bat, there's a nugget right there, and he's going to be Nick's nugget for sure. And you know, Jamal Peterson, your mate there in the backcourt, he's an excellent shooter. He was the one that came down and distributed some threes into the game for you guys, and you got the lead, and you went into the championship game. And in the championship game, you know, you have normally being a point guard, I can tell you like to share the basketball, okay? And that just shows how much you care. You want to have other people involved in the game. But something happened in the championship game that I didn't see in your first 2 games. You showed me some 3-point shots from 3-point land that I said, wow, there is the total package. He's the point guard. He can distribute the basketball, but when he needs to, he can drain the threes. And you hit 5 3-pointers in the championship game. Now, you came up a little bit short, lost to the Finnish select team, but you certainly showed me that you were the total package.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what you work for. You definitely don't. I don't train to only have one part of my game play good. So when everything comes together and I play a complete game, which I try to do every night out or every time on the court, it feels good when other people recognize that too, where it comes out well.
Well, I recognize you, and I'm sure there's many other people did. And, we talked about something that we have in common, Mike, and it's dreams that we're chasing here. And I'm 62 years old. About when I turned 55, I decided I really wanted to become a sports radio personality, and it's just been so fun for me. I'm still wanting to become a play-by-play person, and that's why I went down to Las Vegas to call the basketball games down there. I have this podcast that I do. I also have a sports talk show that I do here in Sonoma County, Overtime with Nick and Bob. But, you were one of the older players in the tournament. You're 28 years old, and you haven't given up on the pursuit of your dream. Tell us why it's so important to you to become a professional basketball player.
Really, I believe that I belong there. So I really love the game, and if I just from the hard work and the research and being realistic with myself, I honestly, at the end of the day, I can say I feel like I can play at the highest level, which is the NBA. And I believe in my skills to pass and play defense and shoot and bring positives to a team and be energetic and do everything I can for a team. So I feel that is like I have intangibles that a lot of other players don't have. Plus I have the hard work, and that's just something I don't want to throw away. Even though I am 28, I want to keep pushing and see if I can make my dream come true. Give it my best go, same as you are.
Absolutely, and that's why I really enjoyed when we first met and I got to talk to you about that, because I certainly was surprised that you were 28. You certainly don't look 28 years old. You look much younger, and you play with such energy that I don't think anybody would know that unless you told them. But, I want to talk to you about a couple of players that you may have played against that you had talked about off air, and I was pretty impressed when you said you had played against Damian Lillard, who's now a star player for the Portland Trail Blazers. Do you remember that matchup?
I do, yes.
What can you tell me about that matchup? How did you do against Damian Lillard?
I did good. It was my freshman year, so I was 18 years old, and he's a little bit bigger than me. But I just remember him being the main focus on the scouting report. We knew he was a good guard going in. And we game planned against him. I think they barely beat us by maybe like 4 points. And all I know is that Damian Lillard, he was his stat line, he was like 3 for 9 and had 11 points against us, and I was guarding him. So, and then I look back and I see him drop 60 points on Curry or 40 or 50 points on the Thunder. It just makes me feel good because I know I held him to 11, which is considerable.
That's great. That is great. I love that, Mike. He was playing for Weber State at the time, and as you mentioned, you were at Southern Utah. So, and I know there was a couple of other players that also were in the NBA that you played against. George Hill, he played for the Sacramento Kings. He went to IUPUI, and I'm sure Chandler Parsons, he's on the Memphis Grizzlies right now, but he was a big guy. I'm sure you didn't match up against him. Did you match up against George Hill?
Yeah, I did. George Hill was the most impressive that I played against in college. He was doing everything. I had to play him like 4 times in the 1 year, which was crazy. And yeah, they had a really good team. But yeah, he was just really impressive. I had to match up against him a couple times, but he was a little bit bigger, so he was supposed to be guarded by our shooting guard, but it was a game where we were switching a lot. So I do remember him. He was guarding me for about 5 minutes in the first half, and I hit 2 threes in a row, and he was guarding me. And the third one, it was the funniest thing ever. The third one, they swing it to me. I'm wide open. I catch it perfectly. He's on the block. I catch him on the wing, 3-point, right, left side wing on the 3-pointer. I catch it. It comes into my hands. It feels great. I shoot the ball. When I shot the ball, he was on the block. I shoot the ball. Next thing I know, the ball is 5 feet behind me. He threw it. He blocked my shot into the stand, patted me on the head, and was just nice try, pretty much. But that's when right there I knew I was like, this guy's an NBA player, because he was on the block and I got the I was wide open for 2 or 3 seconds and he still blocked my shot. I couldn't believe it. But after that game, he really respected me. I respected him, and he ended up being an NBA player just like I thought. So I'm happy.
Well, that's
happy for him.
Yeah, great story right there. But you're obviously saying that you weren't all that impressed with Damian Lillard back in the day, then, huh? That he's improved a little since that day when you were a freshman at Southern Utah. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, same with I played against Jimmer Fredette too, my freshman year, and he wasn't impressive at all. Actually, I think I stole the ball from him 3 times in 7 possessions coming up the court my freshman year, and then my sophomore year and the junior year is when he blew up and scored 40 points, and next thing you know, he was in the NBA. So, yeah, a lot of people, you never know. I just take pride in my defense, so I honestly feel like a lot of people can't score on me. So I don't know if I honestly don't think everybody thinks like that. So Damian Lillard might have 11 against me, and then he plays against somebody else who's not defensive minded, and he's going to have 40 or 50 every night. So it just depends on your mentality and what you bring to the game every day. And
I want to make sure the listeners understand you are absolutely a fantastic defensive player, and I want when you're holding. Yeah, I want you to know that. That's what stands out. When I saw you get those 5 steals and how you distributed the basketball and just so unselfish, that's what stood out. That's why you're one of Nick's nuggets, Mike, okay? And I want to give you something that possibly you may know this already, but have you heard of the North American Premier Basketball League? I
have, yes. It's a new league coming up. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a new league coming up. It's beginning here in January 2018. They're going to have a team in Hilo, Hawaii, Las Vegas, Rochester, New York, Seattle, Washington, Vancouver, British Columbia. There's going to be several more teams added. This is your opportunity, my man, okay? You've shown me, and when we get this podcast on air, people are going to know about Mike Josserand because he's definitely a player that can lead a team to a championship, okay? So I just want you to know, you got to be aware there's going to be some combines coming up here. Early August, they've got one. Look for them, Mike. Get yourself into those combines. Show these professional coaches here in these new league that you're a player, because I really believe every team needs a point guard like Mike Josserand. You cannot have a great team without a good point guard, and you were as good as there was in that tournament, Mike Josserand, and I want you to know I really appreciate you coming on the 10th inning here with Nick Mattos, and I want you to, good luck. I want you to let us know. You're going to call us. When you get that professional contract, you're going to call me and let me know. We can get you back on the 10th inning and talk about your professional basketball career, okay?
Yep, that sounds great. Definitely will do that.
Okay, well, good luck. Thank you for joining me. You have a good night, my friend.
Have a good night. Thanks, Nick.
Boy, I'll tell you, Dave, that Mike Josserand was just fun to watch. He got my eye real early in the tournament when I saw him on the court. His smile was just contagious. I just enjoyed watching the passion that he showed for playing basketball, and would have never thought that he was 28 years old. He just played like a young man, and he was possessed. And, throughout the tournament, there was so many talented players, but just I kind of gravitated towards some players. And the next player that is on my list of Nick's Nugget was the smallest player in the tournament, Jermon Queen. He just was, I give him the nickname the water bug, because when I saw him play, he just was unbelievable. His energy effort reminded me of Josserand, but he was smaller and quicker. And his energy was contagious. His team just was fueled by the energy that he brought onto the court. And he was a true point guard. He was sharing the basketball. Anytime he found somebody that had a better shot than him, he would penetrate and dish. Jermon Queen, the second of Nick's Nuggets. This is Nick Mattos, and I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada, with Jermon Queen. Jermon Queen played for the French Pro-Am and just finished playing in the last game of the tournament. And Jermon is a really special player here, and I've had the opportunity to watch Jermon play 3 games, and I just love his game here. He's not very tall. I would say, well, how tall are you, Jermon? Give me your height and weight.
Exactly, probably 5'6" with no shoes, 5'7" with shoes on.
But I'll tell you this, you're one of the most important guys on the team out there. And I mentioned it several times in my broadcast because when you're out there, you're instant energy. And I gave you a nickname, Jermon. I hope you were okay with it. You're the water bug, okay? Because when you're out there, you're making so many things happen. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Martin County, Florida, or Stuart, Florida. I went to Martin County High School. I'm the only child from my mom's side, and my mom's short as well, so I've always been the little guy just trying to play with a bunch of heart, against the big boys. So I'm just trying to come out here and show them that I can play too.
And you do that. You did a good job of doing that. Have you played other sports when you were in high school?
Oh, I played football, and I played running back. Actually, my family thought I probably was a little better at football because I was just so fast, but I just have the heart and the passion for basketball. I mean, when I'm on the court, I just feel like I just play with my heart, and I'm out there having fun, and I just love it. I just like to be out there competing with the best of the best.
Well, I can tell you, you stand out. You were one of the smallest guys in this tournament, amongst a lot of great athletes, 6'6", 6'9" guys that can elevation sensations. But your game is so important, and I mentioned it so many times on the broadcast. You bring energy, and you share the ball. I like to say sharing is caring. And when you're out there, you're never looking for a shot for yourself. You're always trying to create a shot for someone else. Who taught you that style of basketball?
Pretty much my mom. She just told me that, that you're going to get enough going in there with those giants, so it's best to try to get your teammates involved first, and then once your teammates get involved, everything will pretty much open up for you. So, just get your teammates involved, and just, I like the simple fact of just making other players better. I feel better when they score rather than me.
Did you go to college?
Yes, I went to Eastern Florida, JUCO, and then from there I went to FIT out of Melbourne, Florida International of Technology, and then I went to Florida National down at Miami University.
Yeah. So what do you think of the Global Basketball Summer League? Were you invited to come here? Did you sign up?
Yes, and I actually loved it. I mean, I was able to play against so many players that I've seen and played against all over the world, in AAU and in college as well, and it was just catching up with them and having fun. It was just a great experience, and I love to do it again.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this. It was a pleasure to watch you play, okay? I did see you do something in pregame warm-ups that I was very impressed by. It looked like you tried to drop a ball on the ground and try to slam dunk it. You obviously can dunk a basketball, am I right?
Oh, yes, I definitely can dunk a basketball. A lot of people look surprised when I do it. So.
Well, you caught me off guard, too, because this wasn't just your normal dunk. This was kind of a special dunk where it looked like you pounded the basketball off the court and tried to get it at the top of its thing and dunk it. Is that kind of one of your specialties?
Oh, yeah, I love doing that. I make sure I try to do that everywhere I go because a lot of people ask me to do it because they can't believe I can just jump that high. So.
Yeah, and you know what? You're a gym rat, dude. I saw you in here 2 games before your game. You were shooting around. Listen, I admire you. Okay, you and I are similar type players. I'm much older than you, obviously, and I'm definitely not the athlete you were, my man, but I enjoyed how you played the game of basketball. You were a general out there amongst the guys. They needed you out there. You didn't start the game, but you came off the bench. You did this several times. Once you were in the game, it changed the pace and the space of the game for everybody on the court. Jermon Queen was the smallest player in the tournament, and I also enjoyed the biggest player in the tournament, Dave Foster of World Vision Sport. 7'3", a gentle giant. Dave came down the court, ran the court just really gracefully. I was so impressed with his agility and his coordination. He had a beautiful little inside game. And obviously at 7'3", he was able to alter all the shots that were shot in the paint. Big Dave Foster of World Vision Sport. And Dave had something in common with myself. Dave has a dream. He's trying to live it out. He's 29 years old, one of the older players in the tournament, but still trying to achieve his dream of becoming a professional basketball player. Hi, I'm with Dave Foster here of World Vision Sport. Dave's the tallest player in our tournament this weekend. How tall are you, Dave?
7'3".
7'3",
Yeah.
and he's very athletic. His team, World Vision Sports, going to be going to China after this tournament here, and gonna want to get up closer and personal here with Dave here this morning here before the first game of the tournament here on game day 3. Hey, Dave, tell me a little bit about where you were born and raised.
I was born in Salt Lake and moved to Michigan, grew up there, and then went to high school in California, Orange County.
Have you always played basketball? Was there any other sports you played?
I grew up playing soccer.
Oh, very good.
And then when the cleats didn't fit, my shoe got too big, I went to basketball.
That's
So,
great, Dave.
Yeah.
What size was that, Dave, if you don't mind me to ask?
About 14.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get hooked up with the World Vision Sport team?
Just went through my agent. My agent's based out of Chicago, and he looking for opportunity for me this summer, and looked like a good opportunity for me to go to China.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So where were you playing before you got hooked up with the World Vision Sport?
So last season I was playing in LA for the Defenders. Did okay there, and then just trying to go overseas. I know I only have a few years left. Being 7'3" and a little bit older, it's you got to take your time while you can.
When you say older, Dave, how old are you?
So I just turned 29, which of course isn't that old, but in NBA years right now, it's a little bit old.
What's your hope to get out of this tournament, Dave?
Just good exposure, some good film, just to be able to showcase not just myself but our teamwork, and to get to know some guys on the team, and that's what it's all about: building relationships and then furthering your career.
Yeah, Dave, would you be happy if you got a professional contract overseas in Canada, Australia, Europe? Is that something that you like, or would you want really directing us for the NBA?
No, I mean, I would absolutely be open to anything, especially overseas. Just to have that experience and that culture, that new opportunity.
Yeah. Have you played any overseas? You're going to China, obviously, here
Yeah.
after this tournament. Have you been overseas and played in any of the Europe countries?
I played in the Middle East for a little bit, not very long, and then down in Mexico a little bit here and there, but mostly just in the States.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Dave. I really
you.
enjoyed watching you play. You're very athletic and
Thanks,
coordinated. That's the thing. You get up and down the court. I watch you run the court really well, and
Thank you.
obviously you're a big presence in the middle of the court. And I want you to do me a favor. I gave you my sports card here.
Yeah.
And when you get signed in the NBA, you're going to give us a call and let us know that you're there, okay?
Sounds good.
Thanks a lot, Dave Foster.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
Nick's nugget number 3, Dominic the Dominator Shuler. He played with Mike Josserand on the Nevada Desert Storm. One of the most explosive leapers I've ever seen in person. Only 6'6", but he was able to elevate off the court so quickly that the bigger players were just not used to it. Dominic the Dominator Shuler had a great mid-range game, outstanding shot blocker, and could do it on both ends of the court. There's a special player here that I've witnessed throughout the games. He played for the Nevada Desert Storm. His name is Dominic Shuler, and after watching him play one game, I've given him the nickname the Dominator. Dominic, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, sir.
Dominic, I noticed you did not go to college, and you're 23 years old?
25, just turned 25 in May.
Why did you decide not to go to college?
Well, it wasn't a decision. Like, after I graduated from Armour High School, that's in South Carolina, where I'm originally from, it's just like, after I graduated, I kind of got held back with a lot of things, being on the streets and stuff, just going back with my mind, not making the right decision. But after 2 or 3 years going by, I kind of looked at it like, as I'm working out, like, I have really top skills, so I really kind of look forward in college. I just go ahead and try to find like a pro team to get on to go farther along. So from there, that's when I moved down to Las Vegas, and I found a global lead out here. So from here, I'm trying to get somewhere, and I feel good about it.
Yeah, this Global Basketball League is a great format, isn't it? There's a lot of talent here. We had Session A right now, and you were playing with the Nevada Desert Storm, and it was mostly boys and players here from the area here. And I'll tell you, Dominic, you really are a great leaper. How tall are you? What's your size and weight?
Well, I lose weight Every now and then, because
Fluctuates?
Yeah. I gain weight and I lose it. 'Cause I don't get tired on the course, so I just run it off.
Yeah.
So right now it's just from like 200, then they go up to like 210, and back to 200. So.
And how tall are you?
6'6".
6'6".
Yeah, it's about the highest I'm gonna be growing.
Well, but I'll tell you, you're 6'6", but you play much taller, and then one thing I can notice about your play, you really get off the court quickly. You're one of the quickest leapers. I've already said you're a elevation sensation, and it's just so fun to watch you play. In this tournament, we have a lot of people here, scouts. We've got a lot of talented, referees. What would you really want to get out of it? If you don't get an offer to go to the NBA D League, which I think they're changing it to the G League now, to tell you the truth, because they're going to call it Global League.
Yes.
But if you had an opportunity, would you be happy to go overseas and play in the Euro League, or maybe in Australia or Canada? If you were going to get a contract and get paid, would that be something you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, it's very interesting in doing that, because from there, I just need to get one step in, and once I get one step in, I know I'm just keep going further and further and further. I don't settle for what I'm not with.
Yeah, you know what, and I agree with you 100%, and I've noticed this, and I can tell you this is the truth. I've seen several NBA players have come and used the Euro League as a stepping stone into the NBA. This year there were 4 first-round selects from the Euro League that are now in the NBA. Last year there was 14. So I really believe, Dominic, and I'm telling you, I got good eyes in my head. I'm old, but I can see good, okay?
Yeah.
I got glasses on. If somebody doesn't ask you to play professional basketball, I'm going to be so surprised, because I can tell you this, the Dominator can dominate a game. 6'6", and you showed me something in the game here in the final here against the Finnish select team. Your team came up just a little short, 112 to 104 in the final, but you showed me an outside game today. I didn't notice your outside game, but you went outside today. You made a 15-footer. I think you made a 17-footer. Are you capable of shooting threes?
Oh yes, very capable. It's just right now I have to stay down low, because with the big mans, really nobody can just board like me.
Exactly.
Play down low like me. So,
and you had mentioned 2 of your big men weren't allowed to didn't make the game today for the final.
Yeah, they somebody, I don't know what was going on, but one of them heard that it started at 2:00, and he passed it on to another big man. So we lost 2 big men at the same time, but the game started at 12, so they got here when the game ended. So
yeah, and that was disappointing, because the Finnish club had a 7-footer, a 6'10", and a 6'11", and you and DeMario were the height that you guys had in the game. But I can tell you this: you had an outstanding game and an outstanding tournament, and I really expect to see you in the next level. So I want to thank you, Dominic, the Dominator Shuler, and I hope that nickname's going to stick with you, because you well deserve it. Jeff Coby, one of the few players that played in both sessions, and I'm sure he's so happy that he stuck around for the second session. Jeff was 6'8". He's the total package. He can shoot anywhere on the court. There's no shot that Jeff won't take that he can't make. Excellent three-point shooter, and more importantly, was the best free throw shooter in the whole tournament. In one game, Jeff made 15 out of 18 free throws. Not only could he shoot the basketball, he was an excellent defender. Jeff stuck around for Session B and was rewarded with the most valuable player in Session B, as his Greek Connect team won the tournament. I'm with Jeff Coby here from the French Pro-Am team. We're at the Global Basketball Summer League in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm going to talk a little bit with Jeff about his game. Jeff yesterday had a wonderful game in the semifinals. He scored 25 points and remarkably made 15 of 18 free throws. Hey, Jeff, how you doing today? Thanks for joining me.
I'm doing well, thanks. And yourself?
I'm doing good. It's really been fun here in Las Vegas. It's a little hot for me, but enjoy being here. And the talent that's here is so great, Jeff. I'm telling you, you and all the players here are very special players. Where were you raised and born?
I was born in Fairfax County, Virginia, and then I was raised in Miami, Florida. And I went to high school at Sagemont, the upper school, with other players like Prince Ali, Will Sheehy, Fab Melo, and a lot of good talent.
Yeah. How tall are you? Give us your dimensions.
6'8". 1.5.
And how much do you weigh?
225.
Yeah. Well, I was really impressed with your free throw shooting. I think it's so important in the game today. I stress a lot to people about they don't practice free throw shooting enough. And yesterday you were 15 for 18 with 25 points, and your team was able to win and move on here into the consolation bracket today.
Yep.
How did you hear about the Global Basketball Summer League?
Daryl Reshaw, the executive director, he reached out to me and told me about it. He serving me as like a mentor, and I was really, fortunate to be able to talk to him, and he afforded me this opportunity, so it was great.
Yeah, well, you played really well. I'm sure this is like a scouting combine. There's a lot of scouts here. What are your hopes from getting out of this?
I hope to, get my name out there a little bit more and, get a good contract.
Would you be willing to go overseas and play basketball overseas?
Of course.
Good. Well, I know, this year in the NBA, there was 4 first-round draft picks from the Euro League. Last year, there was 14. So, the NBA is reaching out. They're finding players all over the world, and I really have been impressed with your play, and it was nice to meet you. You and I got to sit down together on a little bus ride back to the hotel, and you and Glenn were really great guys, and I was so proud of you yesterday when I watched you made 15 out of 18 free throws. No player in this tournament shot in 18 free throws, and by far the 15 was superb. Point guard, all-around player Timothy Coleman, 6'5" playmaker, played for the Finnish select team. They won the Session A tournament, and Timothy was voted MVP of the tournament. This man can shoot the basketball. Reminded me a lot of James Harden, left-handed, could back his way into the paint and have his will inside the paint with any of the players that were guarding him. Shot the three-pointer. His range was unlimited. Made several shots from 27 feet and beyond. Timothy Coleman, absolutely the best all-round player that I witnessed in both the tournaments. I'm here with Timothy Coleman, the Finnish select team that just won the tournament here. They defeated the Nevada Desert Storm 112-104, and Timothy had an outstanding tournament. He has been voted co-MVP of the tournament along with the other player on his team, and I really think Timothy is going to be a special basketball player, and wanted to talk to Timothy a little bit. So, hey, Tim, thank you very much for joining us here.
Hey, how you doing?
Tim, you're about 6'7", and what do you? Can we stretch you a little bit?
Okay, we could gas it a little bit.
Okay.
6'5", but
all right.
6'7".
Well, we know everybody likes to gas it a little bit, but you're about 6'5". How much you weighing in at these days?
I gotta get to like 225. I'm like 230 right now.
Okay, 230. It's summer basketball. He's not in maybe his top shape, but I'll tell you, Tim, I really enjoyed your game. You're the total package. You were hitting three-pointers. You were able to drive to the hoop. Your defense was solid. And this Global Basketball Summer League is all about showcasing talent. And you're from New Jersey, you were telling me. Tell me a little bit about where you were born and raised in your childhood.
I was born in Newark, New Jersey. And, I bounced around a lot growing up. I lived in Bloomfield for a little while. I lived in Hillside for about 3-4 years. But the majority of my time I spent in Union, so I claim Union, New Jersey, where people ask me where I'm from. I started basketball late. I didn't really play basketball seriously until freshman year of high school.
Is that right? Did you play any other sports in high school?
I played football for 1 year, but I quit after suffering a concussion. And I said, this isn't for me. But I played football. Football was what I was, brought up to play. We have a football household, but...
You have brothers and sisters?
Oh, no. I do now. I have a little brother and a little sister, too. Sister's 5, my little brother's 3.
Ah.
So, I don't think they're going to follow the football path either. My little brother kind of always... He actually has my free throw routine now. He got it copied down.
He likes basketball.
Yeah, he likes basketball. But, so... My freshman thing is kind of, I played JV as a freshman. I didn't try for varsity because I didn't think I was going to make it. Everybody said I was a garbage player in JV.
Garbage player mean?
Yeah, like I was trash. No, I wasn't a good player.
Okay. You proved them wrong, didn't you?
Yeah,
You're here in the NBA Combine, dude, for the most special talent around. This is global basketball. They bring in all this talent, and believe me, of all the talent, you rose to the top. Does that mean something to you, dude? You just won the MVP in the Global Basketball Summer League Session A tournament. I would think you would be able to kind of sit back and say, now am I garbage?
Nah, I've never let anybody put labels on me. So,
Good for
I always, even to this day, I still am out to prove people wrong because there's even people now who still don't think I'm anything. They're telling me, go get a job, think about, the 9-to-5 career, that's fine. I just use it as motivation, to push me. So then when I do make it and I'm at the best and I'm like one of the best, out there, I could just, I don't want to hear a phone call later on,
Yeah.
I'll just, I'll entertain you, but don't, it'll just be that, good feeling after. But
Timothy, I can tell you something. I'm going to tell you this. You are a special talent. That's why I grabbed you here. I wanted to meet you up close and personal. I've watched you play basketball, and I really believe this, that you're going to be in the NBA. It's a matter of time. Now, there is a stepping stone that you may need to take. It may need to go to Europe.
Yeah.
You may need to go to Australia. Would you go? If they offer you an opportunity to go there and pay you to play basketball for a few months, what do you think about playing in the Euro League?
I already, I'm no stranger to, working hard and grinding my way through, to make a name. And even still, I don't have a name, so I still have to, persevere. So, I understand the process. So
You'd be game.
I'd be game for it. You just got to do what you got to do, till you get to where you want to be at.
Well, I can tell you there's been a lot of players, and recently in the NBA drafts, last year there was 14 first-round picks drafted out of the Euro League. This year there was 4. Went down a little bit. In the second round, they had several. But there's a lot of players like yourself that go there, play 1 year there, maybe 2 at the most, and then they come to the NBA, and they're in the NBA because it fine-tunes your game there. And you get to be able to see how basketball is played around the world. So don't keep that door open, Timothy, because the D League, which is going to be called the G League soon, that would be a stepping stone. That would be a good stepping stone for you from the Euro League into the D League and then into the NBA. Because, and I love what you just said, Tim. It's too early for you. You're only, how old are you?
Just turned 22.
Yeah, you're way too young to give up on your dream. And I'm going to tell you, my dream was to become a play-by-play announcer, and that's why I'm here. I was doing a job for 40 years myself. I'm 62, and I always wanted to be a play-by-play announcer. About 5 years ago, I decided I was going to go ahead and try to live my dream. I started to hook up with radio, and now I'm kind of transitioning to play-by-play, and I'm trying to live out a dream that I wanted to do, was become a sportscaster. And that's why I'm here at Global Basketball. All the people that are here, the referees, the players, the media people, we're all trying to catch somebody's eye. So when you go home and you get to listen to this game that I did, the championship game here at the Global Basketball League, I hope you're going to email me and say, hey, Nick, I thought you were pretty good, okay? Because I was talking to you about Timothy Coleman quite a bit in this game, and I'm calling you Timothy. We know you're a man and your name's Tim. But you wrote Timothy in the press guide there, and I like that. And your mom and dad probably like that, but you're going to be a special guy. And when you get signed by any pro team, I want you to give me a call so that I can announce it. So I want to thank you for your time, my man, okay?
No problem.
One last question, though. How did you like your experience here at the Global Basketball Summer League? Was it fun?
Oh, it was great. It finally solidified, all the hard work I've been putting in. It was a moment where I was like, wow, I feel like, I've reached a brick wall, but, everything came together kind of in a way when I came here. So, this really, just sent my confidence through the roof. And, I still got more to do. So this just, prove all my hard work is paying off.
That's great right there. I'm glad you said that, because anything that's worth anything, Tim, you got to work hard. If something's easy, there's a reason why it was easy. It's not going to be, you're not going to value it. So, and you know what? You are something special, dude. I wouldn't be here. There's a lot of players here, and I picked Timothy Coleman out for a reason, because you're a special player. And once you get to the big leagues, and that's the NBA, don't forget about me. Every team has to have a defensive presence. And Nick's Nugget, the most outstanding defender in the tournament, was Oliver Ellison. He played for the French Pro-Am, 6'10" shot blocker. His defensive presence was felt by any player that wanted to get into the paint. Oliver was a great rebounder. Anytime he got his hands on the ball, it was like glue. They stuck right in his hands. He was excellent outlet passer. In one game, he blocked 5 shots, and that was the most anybody blocked in any games. He was definitely the most outstanding defender for Nick's Nuggets. I'm here with Oliver Ellison. He's a player here playing in the Global Basketball Summer League. He's in Session B. His team today lost in the semifinals, so he's going to lost in the semifinals. He will be in the consolation game tomorrow. And Oliver is a unique character. I've got an opportunity to sit with him a couple of times, and I just thought you'd all be interested in hearing about him. He's 6'10". He's out of, where did you say, Washington, D.C.? Yep. Tell us about yourself a little bit, Oliver.
Okay. I was born in New York, grew up in D.C., been there pretty much my whole life. Went to high school in D.C., went to college in D.C. also at Howard University. Grew up, started playing ball in 4th grade. My pops actually threw me on the team. I didn't want to play, and he just kind of threw me on the team. I didn't know any rules or nothing. He just said play, and I didn't like it that first year, but after I got to 5th grade, I fell in love with it, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I just decided just to work hard for it and try and make my dream come true.
Well, I thought it was interesting, Oliver. You said you were 6 foot tall when you were in 6th grade. Is that right?
Yeah. I grew 3 inches going 5th to 6th grade, and I was 6 feet tall in the 6th grade. I ended up growing like 2-3 more inches before I got to high school. I was 6'5" freshman in high school. Just turned 18 right before freshman year, and then grew like 3 more inches after that, like an inch a year, basically. So.
Did you play any other sports in high school?
No, strictly basketball. I wanted to play football, but my parents was like, "No, you're gonna get hurt," and it was a good decision because I would have got hurt.
Well, you ended up getting a scholarship to Howard University. Is that correct?
Full scholarship to Howard University to play basketball. Played there 5 years. Pretty good numbers. I actually I ended up on the top 10 list at Howard all time for blocks.
Congratulations.
So,
I saw that you averaged. Tell us a little bit about your league there in Morocco.
Okay.
You went over there to Morocco. That was interesting, huh?
Yeah. I just did finished my first year professional basketball overseas. I was in Morocco Division I. Played for Benice Nassin Athletic Club. Averaged 15, 12 rebounds and 5 blocks.
5 blocks a game. Yeah. Your nickname was the Eraser.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do, man. I like to block shots. That's like probably my favorite part of the game besides like dunking and stuff like that.
Dunking's your favorite part of the game? Have you ever been in a dunk contest?
A few. Yeah.
How have you done?
I'm pretty good. I won a few, but I lost a few too. Sometimes it's some competitors in there. People can really jump, and I'm a tall guy. Some of the tall dudes don't really win the dunk contest that much. But
well, I can tell you this, Oliver. I've really enjoyed watching you play. You give 100% on the court all the time, and I do recognize that defense is your number one concern out there, and you do a good job of patrolling the paint.
Thank you.
Very good job. So, how did you find out about Global Basketball Summer League?
Okay, well, this is actually my 2nd year here. I went last year. I found out on social media. I was on Facebook. I was in a free agent basketball group message, and they were promoting the event, and I was looking it up, and it looked intriguing to me, and I thought it would be a great opportunity. So I came last year. I did really well last year. I got some looks out that, and so I decided I would come back this year and see what I can get.
Have you had fun this year? Has it been rewarding to you so far?
Oh, very rewarding. I had a good game. I had okay games today, but I get to play again tomorrow, and I'm meeting people like as yourself, networking with people.
Thank you, Oliver. That's very nice of you.
It's a great opportunity to meet people that's doing the same thing as you.
Yeah.
And just get some good competition. It's great competition also, which I love. I love competition. So, and it's in Vegas.
And I want you to tell the listeners about the rush you get out of these games, because you and I were talking off air here about how fast and how exciting it is. And you said, I get a rush off of this.
Oh, yeah,
Tell us about
yeah.
that feeling you get in these games.
Well, I just know for me, being a competitor, like, I have a very, very competitive nature. So just the rush of, like, playing, competing, and winning and losing just gives you a thrill and a feeling that you can't get anywhere else. Like, I love to win, and I hate to lose, but honestly, I like all of it together. Like, it's a great thing. Because when you lose, you just want to go play again and win. It gives you more drive to come back even harder. Like, tomorrow I'm going to play incredibly hard.
That is the true value of a competitor right there.
Yeah.
You want to drive to get better and win. Is winning and losing the bottom line for you? Or let me ask you the question here. We're here with a bunch of great athletes. and you're not on a team. You got put on with a team, a bunch of guys that you've never played with before. Is it more important you to win these games, or are you okay if, let's say, you don't win, but you played well and you felt you played well? How do you feel about that?
Well, the biggest thing is if you have a competitive nature, like your will to win, as long as it helps the team, I feel like as long as your individual play helps the team, then it's fine. Like, I try not to focus so much on what I'm doing individually. I know when I'm playing bad, I know that it hurts the team because I'm a big rebounder and I'm a really defensive presence. So I know when I'm playing bad, and that means like we're not defending, we're not rebounding. So it goes hand in hand, kind of. If you have a good team game, like if you're a player that you can get on any team and affect the game in a positive way, then you wanting to win is just going to help either way.
That's great. That's really great advice there. So you've played overseas, obviously, in Morocco.
Yes.
How was that? How did you like that?
Oh, man, it was a great experience. It was kind of the first 2-3 weeks was really hard for me, actually. I didn't leave the house. I didn't really.
For what reason?
Oh, I didn't know anything. Like everyone spoke Arabic. It was my first time out of my city. I was in D.C. my whole life, and I ended up in Morocco. But once I got out my comfort zone, I started finding my way around. I loved it. I loved being immersed in a different culture and learning different things and getting to play a different style of basketball, which I thought was great. And just being in a different country, just to experience how people live and how they play ball. And the food, I love the food. And it was beautiful over there also.
Yeah. How was the competition there in Morocco?
It was okay.
Okay. So what are you wanting to get out of this Summer League basketball this year? What would be your hope for this?
Oh, my hopes would be, one, to get a better contract than I got last year, but two, because I'm a competitor, I want to go somewhere where the league is a little bit better than where I was at before. I want to have a challenge. I think I want to keep challenging myself. I feel like I can play with anybody, so I want to keep challenging myself against different people, different levels of players, and see where I'm at so I can get better. And
that's fantastic. One last question. How old are you?
24.
Oh, you're just a young man.
Yeah.
You got a long way to go, and I'll tell you this. I'm so proud of you. I've seen you out there in the court today. You took a really hard spell, but you got right up, didn't even shook it off, and got right back in the game. So it's been a real pleasure to meet you, my man.
You too.
And when you get to be a professional player, I want you to make sure you call me.
Okay.
And you tell me, hey, Nick, I made it to the big time.
Okay, I got you.
The last of Nick's Nuggets is the entire Washington Warhawks team, led by their player coach, Mike Mallat. Mike Mallat is an outstanding player and does a great job of playing and coaching the Washington Warhawks. The Warhawks are a very unique team. 4 of the players on the team are owners of the team, and they have just a great attitude. They came to the tournament, they were overmanned. Some of the players on their team were not able to make the tournament, but they never gave up, and they battled hard in each game. The Washington Warhawks, the one thing I can tell you about them is I love their name, and they never gave up. Coach Mike Mallat knows how to play the game, and the Warhawks gave it 100%. They did not win any of the games in the tournament. They went 0-3, but I was so impressed with their team concept. Here with Coach Mike Mallat of the Washington Warhawks. The Warhawks came here into Session B of the tournament here, and I think it's really an interesting story about the Washington Warhawks, and I thought the listeners would think so too. Coach Mike Mallat is a player coach, and I just thought it would be interesting to find out how he formed his team and how he became the player coach of the Washington Warhawks. Hey, Mike, thanks for joining me today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your team?
Okay. Thank you for having us. It's really an honor. This is basically the reason why we wanted to do these types of things, to get this type of media and get this unique situation out there. So I met Andrew Farrar in Spain, and we basically were playing together in Spain, and we came up with this idea of, really it's his idea of just finding this idea of, what if we can control our own destination? You know, what if we can control our own fate? And we're smart enough, we have the same experience, and we had, the backing to do it. And so it's like, we wanted to develop a culture because we were tired of playing with guys that maybe didn't know what they were doing, or maybe the opportunity wasn't presented in the right way, based off of always trying out and just always trying to, make it. So we're like, let's control our own destiny and get together and get a good group of guys and really form something that could be really, really special.
Yeah, very good. Well, Farrar, I want a couple of things about you I can tell you right away. A couple of things I can tell you about Andrew right away. He wears my number 14, and he can shoot shots off of 1 foot, which I never could do. Okay, he had a couple of beautiful step-back 1-foot shots today. And Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I appreciate that, and thanks for having us. Like Mike said, we met in Spain, and we had this unique idea to just start our own thing. And when I got back home in Virginia, I sort of had a core group of guys that I knew, and good group of friends that we'd played with for a couple of years, and we decided, why not try this? Why not? What's the downside? So we figured have a couple of tryouts, get a few more guys that play the right way, that play our style. And to be honest, it was challenging. We had a lot of obstacles along the way to find the right guys, but I think we finally got there. Unfortunately for this tournament, we only had about half our team. We didn't have the core group, which was, just disappointing. But hopefully, as we continue to grow, we'll have our guys together more and more. So basically, what we want to do, like Mike said, we want to try to be a touring team and help professional teams get ready for their season. So that's one thing we're looking to do.
Well, I can tell you one thing I noticed here, fellas. You guys never gave up. You battled to the last second of the game here, and I just was impressed with your team concept. Everybody was upbeat and positive. And now I'm going to turn it over to the second player owner of the team here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, young man. Osay.
Thanks for having me. Hey, my name's Bryan Osay. For a long time, I just played locally. A lot of basketball in Northern Virginia and D.C. area, tournaments, adult leagues. And then, like Drew said, he came back from Spain, and he had a phenomenal idea. He wanted to get a core group of guys with the right mindset, right motives, and play on a higher level. So that's why we joined the PBL. We created the Warhawks as owners. There's also two other owners, Dion Romeo and Tariq Ghaffori, who unfortunately is not here at the moment. But like he said, we went through a couple obstacles, but we learned as a family. That was our goal, to be as a unit and give back. That's one thing I don't think they touched so far. We are really trying to give back to the community. We work with other nonprofits. We volunteer our time. Mutual interest, though, because it gets our name out there. It helps fill out the stands and everything. So it's been a joy to work with these great guys, and I think we got some big things up ahead.
Well, I think it's important to say the other two players that you mentioned are players on the team, the other two owners of the team.
That is correct.
Everybody has something involved in this, and that's important here. And I wanted to tell you guys one last thing here. Coach Mike, I'll hand you the phone here in a minute, but I'm also trying to live my passion and my dream, something that I wanted to do. I worked for a job for 40 years. I turned 62 this year. About 7 years ago, I decided I wanted to do my passion, which was sports talk radio, and I have a sports talk show, but play-by-play is really my passion. So I'm kind of chasing my dream just as you guys are, and appreciate you taking the time here. And I'd like to have Coach Mike Mallat give us his parting words here.
Yeah, and that was basically to piggyback off of what you were saying, and Bryan and Andrew. That's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to give guys a platform, not only to play, but to play the right way. And we all have an idea of how to do it. Like for me, I've been with the D-League guys. I've played in Italy. I've played in Spain. I've played in Canada. And I've always ran into maybe an opportunity or a situation where it might have not been the right thing. And so you might lose an opportunity. But if you can come with us and we can teach you how to be professional, because it's not like we're teaching you things that aren't realistic. I've learned from NBA guys. They've played Michigan, Syracuse. So it's not like we're just out here, men's league, and it can't be taken serious. The things you learn is not just X's and O's. It's how to be a professional basketball player. And that's the culture that I think that we can really kind of separate from other places. Some of those lower leagues you get into kind of like the mediocre type stuff. You don't go through the professionalism as you should. And that's the one thing that we want to piggyback off is like, when you come here, we're going to tuck our shirts in, we're going to talk to people. Touched like on earlier when you said being a player coach is kind of hard. But when you got the right guys, there's no talking back.
It's not hard,
there's no knuckleheads here. There's no. I listen to you. You listen to me. And all I'm doing is giving them options. I'm putting them in situations where they can be successful.
Yeah. Where are you heading next after this? Where's your next stop?
Well,
you guys got another tour set up?
Well,
Not yet.
I think the next thing might be the NBA 3X in Washington D.C. We might try and do that. Have a little fun with that.
Well, the Global Basketball Summer League tournament was such a success for all of the players and for myself. I had an opportunity to go to Las Vegas, Nevada, and I completely and thoroughly enjoyed my time there. The format that Daryl Reshaw has set up is one that has to be emulated. It gives an opportunity for not only the players, the referees, the officials, the media personnel, and coaches to come there and showcase their skills. When you looked into the stands, you could see there were scouts from all over the world there looking to find some nuggets in the tournament. A lot of these players have already had contracts overseas. They came back because they want to get better contracts. Some of the players were just fresh out of college. They want to get a professional contract overseas or in the NBA D-League, which is now going to be called the G League. Myself and the other media people were there trying to showcase our talents and skills, hoping to land jobs throughout the country for any team that wants outstanding play-by-play, sideline reporters. There were several of them there, and I hope that they'll get opportunities to get professional jobs. And the officials, I'll tell you this, the officials there were unbelievable. I was so impressed. They were going back and forth, doing basketball games for the NBA Summer League at the Mack Center, and then they would come over to our arena there at the Doolittle Community Center and work the games there. And the officiating was just top-notch. All the games were well officiated, and again, I want to give just all types of props to Daryl Reshaw. His goal of giving people opportunities to get jobs and giving them a format is a 100% success. And I hope it continues, and I look forward to becoming part of the Global Basketball Summer League again next year. Thank you for joining me here today on the 10th Inning with Nick Mattos. I hope you enjoyed this, and stay tuned for further 10th Inning podcasts because I am back.